Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and people ask me all the time, Patrouski, what is the best Jimmy run within PokeMMO? And my answer is always, it depends. What are you looking for? How much money do you want to make per day? How much effort are you willing to put in per day? Are you worried about burning out through putting in too much effort, or are you worried about burning out from being too bored and putting in too little effort and attention into your Jimmy runs? And that is why it is so cool to be able to finally present this resource from Team Synergy's website, which goes over a lot of the main Jimmy runs. Now, there are actually still other options comparatively to this, but these are kind of the main five, I would say, in my personal opinion. And I have pretty good experience with most of these. I have done 6 Pillars, 7 Hells, and double Typhlosion. I don't have personal experience with Tempest Explosion, but I've seen the routes and the runs, and I don't have experience with Prehistoric 5. But there will be a video guide from Jinxpoon linked in the description, and a lot of people really seem to like that one, so definitely consider checking it out. 6 Pillars and 7 Hells and double Typhlosion, I think I have guides for on my channel. 7 Hells might not be out yet, but I am in the process of making one. I'm actually recording that today. So if there's not one out yet, it will be coming out very, very soon. I actually recently upgraded to that strategy on my Ironman account. This whole page will be linked first thing in the description, and you can go see the spreadsheets and the Google Docs and all the extra information on how to build the team. But once again, I also will have video guides if you prefer that style of learning, linked in the description. The real interesting / hard part here is deciding what Jimmy run you should do. What is the best Jimmy run? And typically, I would recommend most people for their first Jimmy run, start off with double Typhlosion. There is a reason that I recommend it. Double Typhlosion is incredibly cheap to build at around 200 to 400k according to Team Synergy's website, which I think is about right. I would honestly put the difficulty at easy / maybe even very easy. I think that this is the easiest Jimmy run strategy by far, since you're doing the same thing every single fight. You are just setting up Tailwind, setting up Sun, and then using your double Typhlosions to spam Eruption. And you can make about 250,000 Pokeyen on average doing this strategy, or maybe a little bit more if you're weaving in Morimoto and Cynthia, or just having better runs. Jimmy runs are a very skill-based activity, and shaving off a few seconds here or there could be the difference in an extra 13k Pokeyen or so. Sometimes an extra 26k if you can weave in 2 extra gyms comparatively to someone else. Now, this will mostly be a quick guide with tons of extra details and information linked in the description, but I love showing off the double Typhlosion team because it is so simple. You only need 2 Typhlosions alongside a really, shitty kind of Torkoal, to put it lightly. A shitty Torkoal and a shitty Cottony with Prankster and Tailwind, and the Torkoal you want Explosion just in case, but you want these Pokemon to be low level and bad IVs because you want them to be sacrificial. They're just there to double your damage by setting up Sun and double your speed by setting up Tailwind. And then of course you bring in the Eruption Typhlosions with 25 plus special attack and speed, and then 252 insp attack and speed EVs alongside a mild, modest, or rash nature. You do need the plus special attack nature, and I don't recommend quiet for sure. And you just need the Eruption move. Sometimes Swift is nice, or Flamethrower as a backup, but this team is just so incredibly simple and a great way to get started, and you'll use both of those Typhlosions in tons of other PVM activities in the future alongside other Jimmy runs. So even if you start with the double Typhlosion and you upgrade, you're always going to use those Pokemon. They're always going to be beneficial in some other strategy or some other part of the game moving forward, which is why it's such a good beginner Jimmy run team. And I do recommend, if you want to snag an extra 2 to 4 gyms while doing double Typhlosion, I do recommend grabbing yourself a Earthquake Garchomp, or just any Earthquake ground type. Any ground type here works. Crocodile and Garchomp are probably the most recommended, and then a Zapdos. Now that's the hard part. Do you really want to have a Zapdos, or have a Zapdos for this very cheap budget team? That might be a little bit difficult, but if you happen to have one laying around, a discharge flying type like this, and then a ground type that can spam Earthquake, both these Pokemon, his Earthquake is not going to hit Zapdos, and his Discharge is not going to hit Garchomp. So it's the perfect wombo combo to finish off certain gyms you otherwise wouldn't be able to do with the double Typhlosion. I used to recommend Water Spout Blastoise, and that strategy is still valid. You can absolutely use that totally fine, but I think this is a little bit better in my opinion. Next up, we're going to quickly cover 7 Hells, which I actually just upgraded to. You can see the full team on the right-hand side of your screen. One of the most expensive pieces being the Hidden Ability Access Excadrill, which is usually pretty pricey. And a lot of these Pokemon just need much better stats than double Typhlosion, often wanting multiple 31s, or having defenses being very, very important, but it's still not too expensive. As you can see, I've skimped on a lot of these Pokemon, or even reversed a few things. So for example, you're supposed to have a modest nature Togekiss and then go Choice Scarf. I opt to go Timid and then go Specs because it's what I had lying around on my Ironman account. So you can kind of make up for things or reverse a few stats, and it will still work plenty fine. I think it's the best way to describe these 7 health strategies, that you want to constantly be adapting on the fly and changing based on what a gym might need. I actually add in 2 gyms to this run. I add in Celadon City and Driftveil. Celadon I haven't really ran into too many problems with. Occasionally Driftveil you'll run into a fake out Sableye and a muddy water Seismitoad, and that can be really annoying, but you can still push through that usually. And I've been able to make 350,000 Pokeyen per hour consistently with this strategy on an Ironman account, and I've even been able to make up to around 375 to 380k in 1 hour. That is over 100k extra Pokeyen per hour comparatively to double Typhlosion. So when people ask me, should they upgrade teams? The question is generally yes. I think most players should look to upgrade their Jimmy Run teams within PokeMMO, but not everybody has to. There's an important question and an important equation for you to figure out when it comes to efficiency and fun within PokeMMO. You do not want to upgrade to the highest level Jimmy Run strategy and then find out that you hate it, or it's miserable, or way too difficult to do every single day. You want to find the right balance. Find yourself a Jimmy Run team that you feel comfortable doing every single day, and then go ahead and go do it, right? You don't want to be that player, and I've just seen this so many times, which is why I offer these words of I guess, advice or PSA. I've seen so many times players build this speedrun strategy or 6 pillars or a really high-end strategy, and then they burn out of the game because it's so much every single day. And PokeMMO is a marathon, not a sprint. It is an MMO. It is a long-term game you would want to play for years and years to make proper progress. However, I do want to speak to the opposite side as well. I am not personally like this, but there are tons of gamers, really talented gamers, who are like this. If you're someone who finds yourself understimulated sometimes by the double Typhlosion strat, or maybe even 7 hells, you might want to purposefully get a high-end Jimmy Run team because that helps you enjoy it more. So it's all about understanding what you want every single day. 2 years ago, when someone asked what's the best Jimmy Run team, I would always just answer the team that makes the most Pokeyen. But I think that is no longer the case. We've almost surpassed that need as PokeMMO players. We've evolved and adapted and gotten a lot better at the game. And now I can give more full answers, like, once again, wondering what kind of player you are. What are you looking for? Finding the right balance for you. I think 7 hells is a pretty darn good team for a lot of people, I would say, at the end of the day. I think it's a pretty good one to recommend. And then either that or Prehistoric 5. I think the 3 main Jimmy Runs on here that most people should be doing are probably double Typhlosion, 7 hells, and then Prehistoric 5. If you want to upgrade to 6 pillars, definitely go for it. I've tried that strategy. I hated it. I don't like item swapping. Item swaps is just a lot. With 7 hells, you have a lot of Pokemon swaps, but you're almost always clicking the same moves every time. Sometimes you just move like the main slot up. Like if you have like Water Spout on Blastoise is your spam move, you go ahead and just move that to the very top slot of the Pokemon, for example. Double Typhlosion's obviously just spamming Eruption. 7 hells is mostly the same things. Occasionally it'll say like, oh, if there's like an Altaria against you, you want to go ahead and go for an Icy Wind or switch things out, but it's only a handful of times per run. So 7 hells is still pretty easy, but you do have to look at the sheet pretty actively. It'll take more time to learn the run than double Typhlosion would, and there is a lot more nuance, I think. There's a lot more room in 7 hells for making adjustments on the fly, and some people might like that. I like that sometimes, honestly. It's also less consistent, much less consistent than double Typhlosion, but it's worth it, in my opinion, to make an extra 100k an hour. But some people really hate the idea of having a hard time at a gym, or not really losing a gym, but taking like 6 turns to beat a gym sometimes. But once again, I think it is well worth it. And then I can't really talk too much about Prehistoric 5 since I have not done it. There will be the Jinx Boon guide linked in the description. I've heard a lot of people say really good things about it. 6 pillars I've done. I don't recommend to the average player. I think it's very difficult, very high end, lots of item switching and Pokemon switching from what I recall, but some people really enjoy it. So it's just a matter of how much, once again, effort, how many clicks do you want to do per Jimmy Run, etc., etc. And then Tempest Explosion is the speed run strategy. There's not a whole lot I can add to that. I remember watching it and seeing it played, and it's pretty crazy. It's something I'm going to be cool to learn about, but not something that I would ever want to run personally. Maybe once. And that's it. This is really just a quick guide to overview a lot of the best Jimmy Run strategies, since people ask me so often, you know, what is the best Jimmy Run strategy in PokeMMO? And I want to come to give you guys an answer that it's really whatever is the best for you, and then here are your options. I want you to make your own decision because I think you are smart enough to do that. Here are your options. Go ahead and see what works best for you. In general, once again, I think the general rule of thumb would be something like start with double Typhlosion, upgrade to 7 hells, and then either upgrade or change to Prehistoric 5 or 6 pillars. I think that is the general flow of thumb. I don't know if that's not a word. Rule of thumb when it comes to your PokeMMO Jimmy Run team. So I hope you guys just found this video helpful. If it was, make sure to leave a like on it. That helps me a ton to let me know you actually enjoyed the content. Dislike if you didn't. Subscribe for daily PokeMMO videos. I do upload every single day about this game that I love so very much. If you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo help out a lot. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I hope this helps you make a little bit of extra Pokeyen. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I wanted to say thank you so much to everybody's name who is on this list. You really allow me to make the content that I do every single day, and I hope I can make it worth your guys' while and add to your PokeMMO journey. Thanks again so much for watching the entire video, and have a great day.